Hello everyone, and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Codex Temondera Lost Vision for the PC. The game was developed and published by Quacksalver Frame and was released this year in 2019. The game itself is an old retro style RPG type game which has its roots from past games such as Final Fantasy III, Chrono Trigger, Shining Force and a whole host of various other RPGs from that era. If you have ever played any of those past games, then you know exactly what to expect here, as the game follows on from those games' past traditions. However, this game adds in a few brand new elements into the mix, which I'm sure new and old gamers like myself will like. However, as I'm sure you're all wondering, is Lost Vision any good or not? Here's a more detailed look at what the game has to offer. Lost Vision's plot starts you off as the main character Reich, who finds out about a group of knights that he works with have gone missing and have done so under mysterious circumstances. Our main character is followed by one of his friends Celine, and the two venture off to the local town to find out more about what's happened and see if they can gather more clues as to what actually is going on. Upon arriving in town, the duo find out that a lot of people have mysteriously just vanished into thin air without a trace. The duo then gather more information from the townspeople and head off to the local forest where the knights were before they disappeared. Now, this is the part where your adventure truly begins, as the game then starts to open up, whilst giving you the option to talk to other people around the town, and you can then do side quests which involve fighting bosses, exploring haunted houses, delivering items to other towns, and a whole host of various others. The story itself is very well paced and very well told, and it does a really good job of luring you in, because that's what's at the core of this game, its story. So it needs to be told in such a way that it can instantly draw your attention and hook you in for the rest of the game. Because to some people, it's all about graphics, and considering this type of game and its style and genre is meant to be what it's meant to be about, focusing on the old style RPG games from the SNES and Mega Drive era, the story needs to be told well. And that's exactly what this game does here. The story is good, it hooks you in, and then you're interested right from the very start. The game's characters start you off with Celine, who is a mage, and Reich, who is a swordsmith. Later on in the game, you'll meet Simon when you rescue him from a prison. He then joins your team and helps you try and solve the mystery of just why people are vanishing into thin air. There are loads of other people around town and the rest of the world in which you will explore and that you can talk to and gain quests from, and various others, but party-wise, Reich, Celine and Simon are your lot. It is a small team, but the characters do have a lot of interaction between each other, and remember, size isn't always everything. So while a team may just be a small group, there are lots of interactions between each other, and the three are very well created and presented. I personally don't mind just having 3 characters to choose from, because I do understand it takes a lot of time and effort to create each one of these characters from scratch. Lost Vision's gameplay plays a lot like that of old RPG games such as Final Fantasy III, Chrono Trigger, but also throwing brand new elements of today's era into the mix. Whilst exploring the world, everything is shown in an overhead view, with you and the other characters following behind you as you venture off into towns, dungeons, and anywhere else your legs will take you. From a bird's eye view, you scroll along town and can talk to various people, or enter buildings, move across bridges. It's your usual what you would expect from an old style retro game like this. Honestly, nothing is out of the ordinary here, and I'm sure if like myself you have ever played games like this in the past, you know exactly what to expect from this part of the game. When in combat, everything turns into a turn-based format, with each character getting a turn. And if I was to try and explain the game's combat system, then the best way that I could do that would be to, say, imagine a 2D version of Final Fantasy, but with ingredients from other games such as Persona 3 Portable and Xenogears thrown in at random. You have your standard attack, magic skills and item options done in the format of Persona 3, whilst the way you learn new skills and abilities is a little bit like that of Xenogears or Xenosaga. I wasn't sure it would work at first, but strangely it oddly works, and it works rather well. So while the gameplay is your usual, what you would come to expect, situation in this type of game, be prepared because there are a lot of brand new different ideas just thrown in at random. The game's graphics consist of being made via RPG Maker. For those who don't know, RPG Maker is a type of program which developers can use which can essentially recreate those old retro style looking RPG games from the past. It's a very clever and neat little program, and a lot of features and parts to it, meaning no two games ever made by RPG Maker can really look the same. So while this game may be using the same engine other games such as Dungeon Dreams or Niflheim Hunter uses, don't worry, this game really is its own thing, and doesn't just come across as a type of copy and paste job. Just like those other two games that I previously mentioned, this game has been done to what feels a professional level, and that's quite impressive with what tools and resources the developer had available to them via RPG Maker. If I did have to be blunt about the game's graphics, I would have to say they're just not going to appeal to everyone. It's a fact, they're just not. I know if the game itself had 3D rendered style graphics, even if in low quality, it probably would sell a game better than the old style SNES style looking appearance and graphics that they've gone for. Personally, I do not mind the graphics, as I did grow up with this type of game. Yet I feel a lot of newer gamers will just look at this game and simply ignore it just because of how the graphics look. And really they shouldn't, because they would just be passing up on a very good game in the process. The game's environments range from caves, cities, forests and more. And for all these being shown in 2D, in a bird's eye view, they're actually done rather well. Each area has its own layers of higher and lower grounds, and each area is strewn with objects placed everywhere. The forest location, for example, has birds and small mammals roaming around the floor and sky. The developer didn't need to do this, but he really went out of his way to add them, and it really shows that the devotion that the developer had to this game, because they really do add that touch of realism to the forest, even though it's 2D, and it really does help make it feel that much more alive than what it would have felt like if they weren't there at all. The caves are dark and hard to see in, and you have to use torches around the cave to really see what's going on. By contrast, the cities are busy with loads of people around town and a busy marketplace in the centre. All these areas which you'll explore have had so much small detail added to them that they really do become a joy to try and find. So while you may be looking at this review and looking at the game's graphics and environments and thinking, these don't look that special, for what tools we used in creating this game and its objects, the characters, the world and everything around them, it really is rather impressive. And now we come to the most important part of the review. Should I buy Lost Vision? Lost Vision is a great game and one which I really enjoy playing. However, is it for everyone? That's where I'm not exactly sure. The thing is with this game is, realistically, it is aimed at a certain targeted audience, and that targeted audience is people of around my age, which is about 30 and onwards. Realistically, it's designed for people who grew up on this type of stuff as kids, playing games such as Illusion of Gaia or the Legend of Zelda series on the SNES. The game itself has that old retro look, feel and vibe to it, but whilst having all that, adding new features into the game, making it a brand new experience and keeping gamers on their toes. However, because of these new features, the graphics, the gameplay style, the very hard difficulty level, and the game's general pace, I just doubt it will be for every gamer, as I just don't honestly think most people will have the time or patience to put into this type of game. Newer gamers of today looking at this type of game realistically just won't really get what it's going on about, or truly understand all the homages that it's making, be it from the sound effects to the menu screens or anything else. The game is also exceptionally hard as well, and right from the very start it throws you in at the deep end and doesn't hold your hand or anything once during the entire game. I want to say that I hope every gamer picks this up and enjoys it for what it is, because it really is a great game that's had so much love and energy put into it. However, I realistically think that it's going to be a case of gamers either being like myself who are older, buying it and enjoying it for what it is, and the newer gamers who will look at it and who will just simply pass it up because of how the graphics look. Lost Vision is a good game. It was made by a very small group of people who developed, tested, did the artwork and everything else for it. The game does have a few bugs at present, but the developer is working hard to iron these out, so please do remember that if you do make a purchase. While Lost Vision isn't for every gamer, it's still a very enjoyable game, and I do hope that people out there will give it a chance, because it really does deserve it. Would I recommend Lost Vision? I definitely would, but I would say that it's more aimed for older gamers like myself, who'll truly get the best out of it. Well, that's it for this for you guys. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.